Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
Hi folks, Sue here at 1A Auto, and today we're going to be changing the rear lateral link on our 07 Mazda 6 sedan. So if you need this part or any other part for your car, click on the link below. Come on over to 1AAuto.com. Before you do this repair or any suspension or steering repair, you always want to make sure you make an appointment at an alignment shop and go straight there after your parts are installed. Going to remove the lateral link in the rear, starting with the bolt out here. It's a 15mm socket on the head, and we remove the tire. You don't have to at home. You just have to jack it up and support the vehicle. We took the tire off so you guys have a better view. So now with my 15mm socket and my 1/2-inch ratchet, I'm going to break this bolt free. Not uncommon during any suspension part or steering part, this has a rubber bushing inside, and that's one of the reasons we're replacing it, is the bushings are torn and now the bolt is binding up. The rubber itself is spinning in place in this lateral arm. So if this happens to you, worst case scenario we're going to have to do is you'd have to get a replacement bolt from the dealer, because it's going to be a grade 8 bolt. You can't just put any grade of metal in there, and you're going to have to take like a Sawzall and you'd have to cut the bolt out of this bushing. Well, let's hope this doesn't happen and hope it doesn't happen to you. You can see the bushing is stuck to the metal sleeve, so the bolt is spinning everything in place. So the inner bolt, I wanted to see if it's going to give me the same trouble. It seems to be broken free. It's the same size, 15mm socket. I think I'm just going to make sure this comes all the way out and doesn't start to bind like the outer one did. Okay, I'm going to have to get a ratchet wrench because my head of my ratchet and socket are hitting the gas tank. So now I'll finish it off with a ratchet wrench. I'm going to put something behind here and pry it. It's stuck for the pressure. I'm going to give it air and see if it comes off faster. Nope, the bushing is still in there, spinning around. From the bolt being frozen in the bushing, it actually broke the weld, the factory weld, of this nut on the suspension part. So that might happen to you. So I used a multiple amount of tools to cut the lateral link off of the bushing. Then I got the rubber bushing out of the way. And now the reason why I'm not cutting the bolt is because this is a grade 8 bolt from the dealership. So I'm sure they don't stock it and I'd have to wait a couple of days for it. So I'm giving it the best effort of trying to save the bolt. And now we can see the steel sleeve that is frozen to the bolt on the inside of that. So we finally got it out. Due to the air chisel, the whizzer, everything, I vibrated. Once I broke the rubber bushing off and I chiseled away at that sleeve, the steel sleeve right here, I vibrated all the rust that was stuck in there, and the bolt had swollen itself up inside. Vibrated enough that I could get a pair of locking pliers and use an air gun to spin the bolt out. Here we have a lateral link, rear lateral link, for a Mazda 07 Mazda 6, and here's the one that came out. This one's from 1A Auto. So this lateral link is common, and that's why it was determined bad. The steel bushing that sits inside of the rubber, like that sits inside of the casing, like that. The bolt gets frozen inside the bushing, the steel bushing. So when you go to take it out, it rips the rubber and the bolt is stuck in the car. So we use several tools to get it out, to save the bolt, because the bolt is grade 8 and it is a manufacturer bolt. You can't just put any grade 8. It has a certain staging and step to the bolt. And being a suspension part, that's really important. So we saved the bolt and destroyed the old lateral link. The good news is this one from 1A Auto is identical to the one we took out, which was factory. This is cut at a, see the angle of it? This is incomplete, but you can see how it turns at the end here. It looks exactly OE design, and can't wait to put it in. And whenever you do suspension parts or steering parts, remember before you start the job to set up an appointment for an alignment, because this is really important. That's an adjustment for the rear. We're going to re-tap the lateral arm bolt that we had trouble cutting out. We didn't have trouble, there was trouble cutting it out, but we saved the bolt. So now we're going to put it in a vise and you can see all the threads are rolled over. So we want to correct those before we reinstall. I'm just going to redo the nut, clean the threads in that. This is a 12 by 175 metric bolt in nut. Prior to installing, I'm going to do the next guy a favor, and I'm going to put never sees of type of paste inside the shaft here, so on both of them, so hopefully these bolts don't seize up ever again on the next person. I'm going to install the outside one first, put the bolt through, and I'm going to get the bolt for the inner one. So I went to go put the lateral link in, and you can see the bolt holes don't line up, and that's due to the adjustment. So I'm going to loosen up the adjustment so that the bolt hole lines up. Then I can put the bolt through. The nut is already welded on the frame part over there. So now once this is tight and once the outer bolt is tight, I'm going to bring over the old lateral bolt arm, and I'm going to adjust these arms to as closest to the one that came out. Then I'm going to go get an alignment. I got my 15mm wrench on the bolt and 18mm holding the nut, because the weld broke off on this one due to the frozen bolt. This does have a torque to it, so I'm just going to hand tight both of them and then torque them up. So once I installed the lateral link and went to go make the adjustment on it to adjust to the old lateral link, I had too much thread showing on one side. So instead of equal amount of threads, which they call timing the thread, I had too much throw out on this side. So I had to take the link apart again, and I made a yellow mark, and I'm going to count how many times I turn it inward. So what I'm doing is once I feel the threads catch, this is reverse thread, I'm going to count 7 turns in. So now these are equal distance apart. Let's see where we go. Perfect. So now I see that I can turn the center to line that up, and both of them should be the equal amount of thread showing. Now I'm ready to put the bolt in. Then I can make my adjustments on the jam nuts. So the torque on the lateral link bolts are 93 foot-pounds. Here's the outer, and I'm going to move right to the inner. They're both the same, 93 foot-pounds. So I'm going to move both my jam nuts so they don't bottom out, and I'm going to turn the center, and it's going to suck in that control arm. This is a 17mm wrench for the adjustment bolt, and the outside lock nuts are 22 millimeter. I'm going to periodically just bottom out the jam nuts, and I'm going to take a measurement of my old one. And I know how many threads for the inner, and I memorize how many threads for either one. So I'm going to count them. So I need to turn it one more turn. .22 millimeter for the jam nut. I'm happy with that. It's close enough for the alignment guy. So I'm going to bring it to the alignment once I get it all together, and they'll adjust it properly. Remember to tighten the jam nuts before you are completed with this job.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.